I decided I should unpack what little I had brought. I had already put away the food, which was easy because I had just run out of the foods Reed had bought me. I only had a few new things of yogurt and some ramen packs. I hadn't wanted to go shopping for food much, since the photo shoots usually had an abundance of catering. The closet was full, but had a few empty hangers, thank goodness. So I flipped the brown duffel and emptied the contents. I actually hadn't dug deep before, only pulling out what was on the surface, so it surprised me to see Reed's hoodie. It was the one I had mended for him. I didn't know how to feel about that. It was something he had trashed, after all. I guess he really didn't want it. I hugged it to myself, unable to feel the same way towards the hoodie. It was an article of proof that we had shared something, whatever it was. Time spent together, at least. Time a lowly servant would treasure. There was a large envelope, too, that fell out. I looked in it to find my papers. So, Reed had been planning on kicking me out for a while, I guess. He had to have gone to the Alpha's office and pulled my file at some previous junction. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision like I had thought. In the envelope was my birth certificate abroad, immunisation records, and up-to-date passport. You would think werewolves didn't need immunisations, and you'd be right to think they had fast healing powers, but cubs were still susceptible to the common cold and needed the same health care as humans. As I was clearly the weakest cub, I was always first in line. I quickly looked at my passport picture. It wasn't flattering. I shut the passport and sighed in frustration. I remember being asked to move my bangs to the side to show my eyes. I hopped off the chair so fast and immediately covered my eyes once the picture was taken. The person at the post office must have thought I was emo or something. I tossed the passport back into the envelope, realising they wanted to keep my passport up to date and ready so that I could be shipped off at any time. To where, I didn't know, but they probably didn't care either. The birth certificate was interesting. My full name was written out as Ari Moon Lowell. I never knew my full name. Below it were the names of my parents. Ryan Dax Lowell, my father. Chun Hae Moon, my mother. My mother's name meant grace and justice. Moon. It meant gate in Korean, pronounced closer to Moon. But I liked the way she spelled it out in English. I was glad I taught myself Korean over the years. Of course, remembering how to speak the language helped me learn to read and write fairly quickly. But the Hanja writing, the Chinese characters, was more of a challenge. Luckily, I had lots of extra time to study. My name meant beautiful. I never knew that. It made me think, perhaps my parents loved me. As I returned that paper to the large envelope, a smaller letter fell out. It was from my father to Alpha Ian. I quickly read it. The letter begged Alpha Ian to help protect me and my mother. In the end, Alpha Ian took me in, but my mother left me behind. Did she do it to protect me? I had no memory of my parents other than the vague day my mother left me with Black Wolf. One thing was clear. I was unwanted by the supernatural. Whatever they thought I was, if the Lycan King wanted me dead, and it took a favour for Alpha Ian to take me in while still compelled to keep me in a silo, I really was better off with the humans. I put away the letter, staring at the name on the envelope. Lowell. The Lycan King knew my father, and therefore would know the name. By labelling my father a traitor, Alpha Ian stopped people from speaking the name out loud. It was another layer of protection I hadn't understood before. It was up to me to protect myself now. Like Reed said, I should have no more contact with the supernatural world. I took my phone out and changed my profile name. Ari Moon. Strange. It was as if for the first time in my life, I had my own identity. I felt grounded. The name fit me. What more perfect name could there be for the girl who heard the moon speak to her? I was finally comfortable with the truth. I may not be a wolf, but the moon was still guiding me. It was time I let go of my anger towards her.
I'm here. It's okay.
I'm here.
I'm here.
It's okay.
I see you.
I see you. I see you. I see you.
The moon crooned. I looked out the window and smiled back at her for the first time in months. I see you too. I put all the papers away carefully into the duffel bag. I also folded Reed's hoodie and put it back in, choosing not to wallow tonight. I went to the kitchen purposefully and drank some fruit juice. I felt strong. I had a name, a job, a beautiful place all to myself. Reed may have gotten me out of the territory, but I had been holding on like a scared little pup. Well, no more. I'm Ari Moon. The ache in my body soothed itself away, forgetting the abandonment that landed me here. I hopped into the coziest bed I'd ever known and fell asleep thinking, if Reed could see me now. Strong, independent, and sexy. I giggled and drifted.
Today had been a hard day. I skipped the socializing and went back to my room. I let the blossom smell embrace me. I set the magazine down on my desk, opening it to Ari's page. I wished I could have seen her. I was glad I didn't. My heart couldn't take much more pain. I fell onto my bed and hugged Ari's pillow to myself. I was right, though, wasn't I? If she stayed, she could get hurt. One mistake and I could hurt her. This was best. It sucked. After a while, I heard the door open. I bolted up. Ari? There she was. She looked clean and elegant simply by wearing my hoodie over leggings. Even though my hoodie was baggy on her, it managed to drape itself over her curves nicely. I looked for you today. You weren't at the apartment.
I thought I should tell you that I moved. Not far. My work provided an apartment. The view of the city is amazing.
She looked happy about this. And here I was, feeling the misery all on my own. This was what I chose, though. I knew I was the only one who felt the pain of distance in our bond. Letting her be free was my choice and gift to her. I could feel my brows furrowing. Crap, I probably looked like I was sulking. Well, I was. I ached for her touch and she just stood there, not coming any closer. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to let those silky strands slide through my fingers. Without realizing it, I found myself only an inch from her. She smiled up at me but stepped back. At least she wasn't casting her gaze away anymore. I breathed in her essence and my skin tingled. I wanted more. I wanted touch. I couldn't find you. Her hands stayed at her sides and I brushed my hand against hers.
Reed.
She tried to step back and hit the door.
Sorry.
She mumbled. Did she just apologize to the door? She looked flustered, and I found that adorable, but I didn't like that she was putting distance between us. I needed to know you were okay. Ari frowned.
I'm doing fine on my own.
I'm not. I'm going crazy without you. My fingertips slid up her hand. Such a small touch, but the electricity of it ran through to my core. I stepped even closer, knowing she couldn't step back any further. I should give her room, but I wanted to breathe her in. My skin wanted her touch so bad. My soul needed its mate. I don't know why I thought I could do it.
Do what?
Live without you.
Turns out I can live without you just fine. I spent years alone, so I knew how to be on my own, without being lonely. That is, until you came in and spoke to me and messed everything up. Then you tossed me out and I stupidly felt lonely. I stupidly missed you.
Wait, she missed me? My hands caressed her arms.
But I'm getting over it. I'm stronger now. I don't even remember that I love you.
Ari, you love me? Realizing what she said, she blushed and covered her face with the loose sleeves of my hoodie. Gently, I pulled her hands away. She peeked her blue eyes up at me.
Forget I said that.
Going beet red, she tried to look away again. Turning her to face me, I begged. Say it again. I cupped her face delicately so she had to keep eye contact with me. I didn't know why I was so demanding.
You already know.
She complained quietly, blushing madly. The pink in her cheeks made the blue of her eyes so much brighter. Say it, Ari. Please? She could barely speak. I smiled and she smiled back shyly. She bit her lip, still refusing to say the most beautiful words in existence. My heart was pounding. Had I leaned in? Our lips were so close.
Reed.
I could feel her breath against my skin. Heat was rising in me. I felt myself tremble. I let her go and stepped away quickly. My muscles shook as the shift came on suddenly. This was wrong. I had mastered control of the shift already. It wasn't even the full moon. What was happening?
Mine. Bite her. Make her mine.
My animal instincts were taking hold. I didn't have a human mouth to warn her to run. Full wolf now, I looked at Ari. Ari looked scared.
Mine.
I growled and pounced.
I woke up with a start. It took me a moment to recognize my new studio apartment. I knew I didn't have a bite mark, but my hands went to my side anyway. I frowned. What a crazy dream. Reed turned on me. I felt the teeth sink in so realistically. Clearly, my dreams agreed I was better off away from the supernatural world. The cold ache was back in my chest. I went to bed feeling confident and independent, and there I went having another dream about Reed. And I said I loved him. I would never say such things out loud, even if it was true. I got up and got some juice from the fridge, trying to get rid of the bad taste the dream left in my mouth. Trixie's special blend was magic. It tasted like peaches and oranges and overall refreshing deliciousness. The cool of it soothed me instantly. What a stupid dream anyway. Reed loving me back was complete fantasy. Absolutely laughable. I had no idea why I kept dreaming of the new Alpha. His life was in Black Wolf and my life was here with the humans. The new studio apartment was amazing and I liked my job, and I had friends that like me. He could have Black Wolf. I wouldn't beg to go back to that place in a million years. Not even for a very good-looking and hot and muscular and kind and strong. Ugh! Enough. Another swig of the juice. I marched myself back to bed.
Stupid dream. I hopped off my bed and landed on all fours. What? I spun and looked into my mirror. I was a wolf. I felt panic and confusion and even looked up at the nail moon outside my window. I dashed to my shower room. I needed to calm down. Calm. Calm. Shifting back to human a little too quickly while coming out from under the counter, I hit my head. I growled in annoyance. This was crazy. Werewolves only shifted with the moon. Granted, the Black Wolf pack had better control over the full moon shift and often could keep our human thoughts, unlike the other packs that simply ran wild, but no one could shift outside of the full moon.
Not unless you were a lichen.
What? I needed to stay calm. I turned the shower on cold and breathed. Panic was clearly a trigger to my shift, and it was no wonder with dreams of harming Ari.
I want my mate back.
I know, but I wasn't about to bring her back. If anything, the dream proved my logic. And this sudden, unexpected shift? I was lethal. It was best to keep her away.
A lichen could bite her. If you are lichen...
Stop saying lichen! As the next alpha, I couldn't afford to make mistakes. Even if I were lichen, I'd be half lichen, and who knew what a half liken's bite would do? And would the werewolves be okay with me being any kind of lichen? This was stupid. I mean, both my parents were wolves. Lichen didn't have spirit wolves. It was probably stress. Yeah, I was stressed and that's what turned me out of cycle. It was time to sort this out. Leaving the shower, I let the cold continue to drip down as I walked back to my bed. My clothes were torn. I grabbed what was left of my jeans and dug in my pocket for the potion. I took a deep breath. Focus on my goals. Concentrate on being the best alpha I can be. Concentrate. Alpha work first. Concentrate. I took the potion in one swig.
Protect my mate. Be with my mate. Love my mate.
No. Alpha work was the priority.
Ari is my only priority.
Shit. I just needed my wolf to shut up. I laid down on my bed, trying to keep the room from spinning. I took a few deep breaths. Things calmed down. Huh? Nothing happened? Maybe the potion was a dud? Suddenly my heart was pounding. In my mind I saw two full moons glowing like eyes boring through me. I heard the breaking sound before I felt the pain. I started to shift, breaking bone one at a time. This was wrong. Shifting never broke me. I screamed as my mouth began to change shape. Why did it hurt so much? I felt like I was being ripped in two. In a blurred moment, I thought I saw my hands turn beastly with giant black claws. Another twisting crack to my spine, and I fell to the floor. As suddenly as it had come on, the pain eased. Out of breath, I lifted myself onto my own human feet. After all that, I didn't shift? This wasn't making any sense. I felt wrong. A growl from behind me startled me. It was my spirit wolf out of my body. It looked ethereal and yet so clear.
It's your fault she's gone.
Gone is what's best for her. I tried to explain, cradling my head.
We are bound to her. Without her, we will be weak.
Will I be, though? I suddenly felt so strong, like I had access to a new kind of power source. The annoying dizziness wasn't abating. The longing to be with Ari still tore at my heart. If anything, it felt as if my whining wolf and my connection to Ari was the thing holding me down. Enough, wolf. No pain. No more.
Coward, hold on to the pain.
No. I've made the right choice.
I won't leave her.
We are Alpha. My eyes glowed, my teeth sharpened, my muscles bulked.
Do it without me.
The wolf went silent and faded. And so did the pain and dizziness.